Hi everyone, hey, thanks for joining me. This video is not one that you'd really want to be making, but I kind of feel as though I want to look into it, and maybe other people do as well, but it has to do with the event that's taken place today. For us here in New Zealand, it is today, the 16th of April 2019, when Notre Dame has suffered a dreadful fire. It has been saved on all accounts, which is really wonderful news, but the whole effect, the whole feeling of it was like just really yuck, you know. I don't like fires anyhow. I have a fear of them, to be honest, so that I don't like any fires at all. But seeing the Grand Dame Notre Dame burning like that, you just go, oh, you feel wrenched in the heart. So, and I'm not Parisian or French. Obviously, I live here in New Zealand on the other side of the world, probably about as far away as we could be. But I did visit Notre Dame myself a long time ago, and really, it's so enjoyed the church and the surroundings on the beautiful river, you know, with the gardens around it. And Paris itself was a beautiful city. I fell in love with Paris, as I think so many people do. And we were there at, oh my gosh, we were there almost at the exact same time to the day. If I looked back in the records, it would be almost the same day. So it was a spring day. We were in Paris for 3 days, I think, and it was really it was cold. It was really cold most of the time we were in Paris. But it was so beautiful, gobsmackingly, stunningly beautiful. I loved it. And part of that love was the architecture and the buildings and the avenues and the river and the trees and the flowers, and, you know, I love the French language as well. It's so beautiful to listen to. It's a very voluptuous and sensuous language. So, yeah, I just felt this connection to the Grand Dame, to Notre Dame. And of course, it's been infamous over its years for the Hunchback of Notre Dame, among other things. But it's one of our most historical buildings again, with such antiquity and history, and those are the things that it's always sad to see them damaged, you know, to see that history being maligned one way or another. So I thought I would take a quick look in and see what are the background energies going on here, because for me, I had a similar kind of feeling almost as when the 9/11 events happened. And you just got this feeling of shock and horror and disbelief that it was occurring. And I think a lot of other people have as well, because it's just this a global feeling of energy connected to it. So I've dug out the Psi cards, and I have put in, there's 3 other cards that I don't usually use for the Psi readings, and they are yes, no, now, yes, no, now, and I think that might be never. So I've put them back in the deck. I'm just shuffling now. I want to see what is going on here with Notre Dame. I guess from my perspective, I'm interested in knowing, was this a deliberate act, or was it part of the ongoing maintenance of the building? Now, clearly, maintenance issues can happen when a building is undergoing its work, and yes, things like welding torches or something that might have been done with wiring or anything could be sitting there. It may have started like a small little fire that just heated up over hours and then broke out into flames, and we have seen this before, and it does happen. So it is either just unfortunately a really tragic event from a working situation, or there's something darker about it. Now we're seeing society change and evolve very, very quickly as we move into these teenage years of the 2000s. You know, a lot of society is literally doing a 180-degree turn on the way it used to be. So we're finding, in many ways, we're finding more freedom, but at the same time, we're finding more restrictions. So is this burning of the church, you know, part of a greater overall energy that is bounding around the planet? Is it more representative of something of a bigger picture? And that's kind of, I guess, what I'm looking into. So these cards that I'm shuffling now are about the Notre Dame Church in Paris. What is it that's behind this event? Let's see what comes out with these cards anyhow. Well, there's a beautiful old building in the background, and often this does denote Europe, and sometimes I've said around London, and of course technically Paris isn't that far from London, and I know for all of the European people watching, they might find that an insulting generalisation. I'm not sure what the beauty represents. Perhaps it could be the beauty of the church itself, how everyone has admired it. Even though it's an unusual building, it's the fact that it is so unique is part of its beauty. Right now, there's definitely action happening right now. The cave. I think if this was a work accident, the poor person who did this will be suffering immense grief in their own way. I mean, imagine yourself, put yourself in that person's shoes, literally. So you perhaps were the person who was on the building site up in the roof, and you were fixing something. You might have been welding it, and you'd done some welding. You perhaps may not have checked something right, or you left it a bit hotter than it should be, but you thought, oh, it's okay, it'll cool down. You walk away for the night, and then boom, an hour later, the thing's in flames. Imagine how you would feel. You would feel like this, just absolute bereft depression, anxiety, feeling like, oh my God, I need to go away and hide. I can't stand what's happening. This is the whole thing is just take me away. Just this deep despair and feeling of loss, which could be representative of a person if they caused the damage, or of the general feeling around Paris at the moment. And of course it did happen in the night. And the church itself is a bit like a cave. It's very tunneled, and so many different ante-rooms and things in it. Well, that's interesting, the puzzle. Some things we're not meant to know in life, and this is kind of the puzzle. It doesn't come out often. So when the puzzle card comes out, it might be suggesting that this is something that we aren't meant to know about, or that there's a greater picture behind it, which is what I have been thinking. Doors are opening and closing in all agendas, all avenues of life. They do again look like old church doors. They're closed. Does that mean that this building and the burning of it, is it some sort of epoch of change, or is it a message about something, the way we're either all behaving, or our thoughts, or the change that's coming? Is it the right change? Is it the wrong change? Does it need altering? Interesting card to come out. The wheel, it's about evolution of change. Things no longer are the same. There is no stopping change when it starts. I do think the church will be built again. More just the message of the whole thing. There's something bigger behind it, but I'm not getting any specifics here. Funny that, like having to dig deep, or antiquities. This is about antiquities usually when this card comes out, and they're hidden underground, or thank goodness some of the artifacts were saved, some of the historical artifacts, which regardless of whether you're religious or not, they're important markers of our human path, of what has been before us. And if we lose the things that have been before us, then we literally don't know where we're going either, because they form who we are now. So wherever we are on the journey of discovery or the journey of humanity, our precursors, the people who were here first, their belief systems, the way they lived, you know, like farming on the land, tilling the ploughs, the old antiquities, they're so invaluable and so important to our history, to our lineage as humans. So it is a shame when they're damaged or in strife. I thought this would come out because this is Notre Dame and it says peace. It's almost as if there's some energy behind it, and it's just saying, look, come on, just find peace and harmony. Somehow, of course, this will unite the citizens of Paris. They will find this a powerful love connection about rebuilding Notre Dame, but rebuilding their city, rebuilding the history, rebuilding the togetherness, rebuilding their passion. You know, when you lose something so significant, it can be positive because it brings you together. And this card is, you know, that's the rose window in the back of a church, and those are the archways, and they remain standing, and quite a lot of that does in Notre Dame. And the word peace brings some little bit of hope. When I do the psi readings, of course, we know this card is the opposite. It doesn't usually mean peace. It means dissolvement of that. I haven't got an answer that's come through whether it was arson or not, and I'm thinking now, the more I deal the cards, the more I think it just was someone who did a foolish thing. It was a mistake, as opposed to a deceit, which I think would be a blessing, because recently in Paris there have been some really nasty attacks, anti-Christian attacks, and of all things we just can't keep moving in the realm of hate. More than anything, we need to be tolerant. We need to just accept. No one else and no other religion should try and take over or move another religion aside, because if we get to that state in life, we are absolutely, we're screwed. And I could have said a much more powerful word. I worry for our integrity and our freedom when we get to the stage of everyone trying to take over everyone else. More than anything in life, I want the freedom that this fool has, because it's so important for me. I value my freedom more than anything in my life. And if I was forced into situations where I had to curtail to something or some religion or some ideology, I'd give up. But I do think it's probably a foolish event as opposed to a crime. I'll just turn the last card over. The beast is often fire, and fire in tunnels and underground or hallways. Let's just take a couple from this deck. But overall, I don't see anything in here that particularly bothers me too much in terms of thinking it was an act of arson or anything. I'm thinking it is more a foolish mistake, yeah, which is the better outcome. For it to be an attack on a beautiful old building, on our humanity, on our history, our human heritage, all people around the world can take offence at that, regardless of what religion it is. See, that's not a negative, it's a positive. That's actually a saving grace, the Five of Swords reversed. It means an argument or a tempestuous event has not taken place and it's been reversed. Lots of queens coming out, lots of female energy here coming through, and I'm not sure where that's coming from because President Macron, I don't know whether we will feel female energy coming through one way or another, or whether there's some compassion or solidarity that's coming from a feminine realm. And that's nice too. That's the Knight of Cups. That's connecting at the love energy, trying to heal things, unite things in love and harmony. And there's the Ace of Swords, which I think we will stop at, which is kind of like you'll win the battle through some sort of loss or hardship. And the loss or hardship is the building that was suffered this colossal damage, but it will be rebuilt. It will take time, but I feel it will be rebuilt, and it will help people to come together. It will help unite ideas and situations. Yeah, if that's the immediate take of things in the right now, in the presence. So yeah, blessings to all of those people who are affected by it and feel angered or negated by it. That's some wild energy in the background.